It's the last one, though. I mean, there is no way you can make a case for this. Like, look where the ball is here. Donnarumma can see this absolutely already, and Robertson is not making any move towards it. Instead, he's making himself smaller. Donnarumma just doesn't get across enough, and yeah, that's a goal and should have counted and made the score 1-1. Just imagine what would have happened. Instead, here's what happens a few minutes later. Manchester City beat Liverpool 3-0 at the Etihad in what looked like a pretty emphatic victory. After the match, a lot of people said that this was an utterly dominant performance from Pep's side, and that Liverpool looked listless from the start with no real chance of competing in this game. But I am really not certain that that's how it looked, at least not to me. So in this video, what we're going to do is break down the match, go over what both teams had planned, who the real difference makers were, and what the key moments in the game were that made it look like such a lopsided scoreline for City, because I do not actually think they were that much better. So welcome to Campfire Football. I'm Sebastian North. Please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy tactical breakdowns and you just enjoy news from the world of football in general. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the clips. So what was Pep's plan in this game? Well, he has been doing something slightly different this season. He's had his wingers tuck in and basically had a 5-man central midfield. He had Nico Gonzalez as his 6. Then you've got Bernardo Silva, who drops in very frequently to help connect the play. That also makes it so that he can easily get balls and play them wide. And basically, the idea for City is to bring teams over to one side, try and go out the other, and see if they can find people between the lines. And you can see Doku here doing exactly that, looking for that little split between Salah and Gravenberch. Foden doing the same thing between Szoboszlai and Gravenberch as well. And really the idea for City is, can they find these people, increase the rhythm quickly, and go? But Liverpool actually did a pretty good job of keeping everything tight, making it so that City would start doing things like this, just little bounce passes, Liverpool trying to force a mistake that would initiate a press, and overall, I think they did a decent job. Now, with Liverpool on the ball, City were just dropping into a 4-1-4-1. You can see it pretty blankly right here. The back line, Nico Gonzalez as the pivot, then the line of 4 midfielders, and then Haaland. And Liverpool really struggled to break this down. They just were outnumbered in central areas and basically had to try and go around the outside, but they were not very effective in those areas. So why weren't they effective? Well, Liverpool seemed to have just kind of a lack of patterns. The amount of times where they did build-outs like this, where Konate would get the ball, not have a ball into Gravenberch because Doku and Foden would sort of pinch together. Ball goes out here to Connor Bradley, and the only thing he would do is turn and look forward. Now, Gravenberch does make this run into the channel, but as soon as he receives this ball, Nico O'Reilly comes steaming up to him and puts him under pressure. So he's able to get it out of his feet, keep it in play, and poke it down the line. But then Gvardiol is there. And Liverpool did this a lot. Just go down one side, lose the ball. It was very, very common. They did have a couple patterns, but sometimes it just looked a little bit ad hoc and sort of just off the cuff. This one is a great example. It's a ball from Mamardashvili chipped into the midfield looking for Wirtz. He's under a little bit too much pressure to be able to bring this down, so he heads it out wide. Okay, all this is good, but if you start essentially playing soccer tennis to get your way through the midfield, which is what they're doing here, this is a really low percentage thing to be trying to do often. This is not what you really plan to do. The thing is that when they did break the Man City press, and it happened a few times, but just not very often, they would get in these scenarios and not know what to do with the ball. I mean, Wirtz here, this is a very poor pass. It's just a bad ball, and that was really symptomatic of Liverpool the whole day. But one player made an enormous difference in this game, for sure man of the match, and it's Doku. And we're going to touch on things he did in both halves. 40 seconds into the match, picking the ball up 20 yards in his own half, and he just decides to start going. And Wirtz all over him, doesn't matter, runs away from him, more than happy to take on 2 players at a time, driving his team forward and getting throw-ins, set pieces, corners. He was just an absolute menace. And he gave Connor Bradley a lot of problems. Now, Connor Bradley, I think, had a good day 1v1 against Doku. He won a few battles, Doku won some others. But one of the big problems Liverpool had was what to do with him in this situation. So you can see Doku's just checking into this space. The split is available. He could receive it. But Connor Bradley is pointed for Gravenberch to get closer to him. The reason why is if Connor Bradley goes and gets right on Doku's back, Doku checks a little bit more in, receives the ball from Gvardiol, flicks it out wide, and Nico O'Reilly has the whole channel to exploit. So Connor Bradley wants Gravenberch to go and mark Doku, doesn't do it quick enough. Doku receives, turns, and now he can involve Nico O'Reilly. And O'Reilly's quick, so he gets into this position, crosses the ball in. Konate does well to win the first one, but the clearance is poor. I mean, that needs to go up and out. Doku's the first and quickest to react, wins that ball, and then once again, he's against two people, and look at what he does here. Just goes right through the middle of the two of them. Now, Konate is there to offer cover and sandwiches him with Connor Bradley. Eventually, McAllister clears it out. But Doku was getting to the point where now two players were going to him every time. You had Connor Bradley and Gravenberch going out. Well, that means that Man City are going to be able to create overloads in the middle. As soon as you double team and your holding midfielder leaves the center part of the pitch, you're going to have problems. And so Doku just created a huge destabilization. Again, Bradley doing pretty well right there, essentially winning the battle in the 1v1 duel. But Konate is the one that makes the mistake here. He just kind of whacks the ball and it hits Doku. And then because Bradley and him run into each other, he's taken out of it. Now Doku is 1v1, gets taken out, and goes down. Now, the referee does not award the penalty at first for this. Play sort of continues. But what I think is interesting here is look at Bernardo Silva. He's got his hand up. He's like, give it to me, give it to me. I am going to just kick it out, and now we can appeal. A while ago, I made a reel about how players were going to start just kicking the ball out of play and demanding a review now because they don't want to risk play continuing and the ref and the VAR just kind of letting a call go away, essentially. And that's exactly what Bernardo Silva did right here. He was just like, no, we are not going to continue and just wait and see if the VAR decide. No, we are stopping now, and you guys have to review this immediately. Now, you may say, well, look, what does that mean? They're going to review it anyway. Yeah, but if you're a player and you're thinking, you never know when these guys just go, oh, we're going with the ref's call on the field. If the play stops and you go and surround the referee, it is way more likely that they are going to spend some time on it. This is just the human reactions and behaviors we've seen from the officials. And it looks like it worked right here. So the referee would stop play, obviously, go ahead and take a look at the monitor. And yeah, Doku doesn't get fouled by Mamardashvili's foot. That doesn't touch him. It's more likely that it was the knee. But I mean, his foot hits his own leg. He's still trying to shoot the ball and falls down and kicks the ground. It's actually kind of funny. I don't think he would make himself look so silly if he hadn't actually been tripped. So I'm more than happy to say this should be a penalty. But Haaland steps up, and this is a great save by Mamardashvili, who actually, I think, has the highest penalty saving record in Europe at the moment with like 6 in the last few years. That's really impressive. Keeps the score at 0-0. And that was a key moment in the match, but there would be a series of others. And this is really where I think this game was essentially settled. First, you have City's goal. So starts out, ball goes out wide here, and this is just bad pressure on the ball from Liverpool. Nunez gets it, and as soon as he takes that touch, they need to be closing a little closer because he's got enough space to deliver this. But the thing is that there's no one actually in the penalty area. So he stops and takes a touch. And that moment, Wirtz and Robertson both freeze. And that's when they need to actually get closer to him. And they let him take a touch inside, another one out of his feet, and he's still able to whip this ball in. And they're nowhere close to blocking it. So that's a big mistake. Then Konate, I mean, I'm really not sure what happens here. Like, he just doesn't get high enough. If he heads this ball, it's not a goal. He basically just misses it or flicks it lightly into Haaland's face. And Haaland, well done, gets up and it floats its way in, 1-0. But just 8 minutes later, Liverpool would get what we all thought was the equalizer. And look at this diagonal from Szoboszlai. It's absolutely fantastic. Just over the entire City defense into an area where Salah is able to bring it down and get himself a corner kick. Okay, so Liverpool drive it in. The header by Van Dijk, and it goes in the corner. But ooh, Robertson's there. So yeah, they're definitely going to take a second look at it. And they did. And right here, this view, you kind of wonder. You're like, ooh, I mean, maybe. So then we get another view. This one's not super conclusive, but Robertson looks even farther away from Donnarumma's eye line in this one. It's the last one, though. I mean, there is no way you can make a case for this. Like, look where the ball is here. Donnarumma can see this absolutely already, and Robertson is not making any move towards it. Instead, he's making himself smaller. Donnarumma just doesn't get across enough, and yeah, that's a goal and should have counted and made the score 1-1. Just imagine what would have happened. Instead, here's what happens a few minutes later. Liverpool defending a set piece. Van Dijk clears the ball away, and it's spinning. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going out for a throw-in, but because it's spinning, it hits the ground and goes out for a corner. And so Liverpool have to defend another corner kick here. Goes short. Bernardo Silva makes the overlap, comes back to him. Connor Bradley goes to pressure him, and it goes to Nico Gonzalez. Ekitike comes out to pressure, and really, This is poor from Ekitike. He jumps in the air and turns his back. Ball hits Van Dijk and slithers in. So we get into the second half. Mamardashvili chips the ball up. Van Dijk is super high, playing like a center forward right here. He wins the flick header, and it goes to Gakpo. Liverpool drive forward. They cycle the ball around. It comes to Salah, gets an underlapping run from Bradley, who crosses it. This is an absolutely excellent ball from Bradley right across 6-yard box. Ideally, someone is there, but it is Gakpo at the back post, and look, he's unfortunate. I don't know if this just hits his shin or something like that, but he absolutely smashes it over the bar, and that would have made things 2-1 with about half an hour to play. Like, just think about how different the game would have been if these two massive opportunities for Liverpool had been goals. Instead, it's Doku who had a show in the second half and ended up making the big difference. And I just want to touch on some of the things he did here, because driving forward, getting 4 players to get around him, then he plays the ball out and keeps his run going, and he almost is the one to receive this back from Nico O'Reilly. I think if he slides there, he maybe gets a touch on it and scores. But this ability to just run by the initial person and just use his pace to get into midfield, drag his whole team up the field. Here, just the intelligence. He uses the run of Nico O'Reilly, right? He's got 2 on him, so Nico O'Reilly makes the run. It takes Connor Bradley with him. Now he's 1v1 against Salah. Well, that's easy. Dribble by him. Here, now he gets the ball. Instead of saying, well, come, someone help, overlap. No, I'm just going to go through 2 guys again. This time able to get a shot off, but it's saved. But that was just a warning, because eventually, here's what would happen. Big ball out wide to Nico O'Reilly, just plays it back to Doku, and he does his nice little shimmy, touch out to the right foot, curler into the far corner. Absolutely fantastic goal. And that made it 3-0, and the game was pretty much over after that. So that's the match. It ends 3-0. I think it was a little bit heavy for Liverpool. I don't think they were that bad. I don't think Man City were that outstanding. Doku was. Either way, I think key moments really fell in Man City's favor, and that's really why they ended up winning by the scoreline that they did. Let me know what you thought of this breakdown. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Sebastian North. This is Campfire Football. Take it easy.